Hey, it's Sunday night, and guess what time it is? It's time for Learning with Lynn. So I'm Lynn Huber.
And I'm Richard.
And this is Richard. So I want to thank you for being here tonight. If you're here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay so we know you were here. So we're going to talk today about how to follow up, work, and convert your Avon prospect leads. Hi, Anitra. Good to see you. So, let me move some things around here and share my screen. There we go. So that should do it. Okay, so we are on onlinebeautybiz.com. And you can go to the right-hand side here and you can search for whatever you want. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to talk about follow-ups, which just happens to be right here. How to follow up, work, and convert your Avon prospect leads. Hi, Tina. Good to see you. Wow, you're on yours. Good to see you. So we're going to talk about following up today. With all the free signups and all the people that are getting signed up today, and all the, we're all out there talking to everybody about sign up for free, sign up to sell Avon for free. And we need a way to follow up with them. Because one thing that I do know is that if you don't have a system in place and you're not consistent, you're never going to stay in contact with your leads the way you should. And if you have a system in place, it actually makes it so much easier, because you know what happens? You meet somebody. Here we talk about there's lots of ways to get leads. So, as you're going about your day, you should be starting conversations with people as much as possible. And you're going to ask them if they would be interested in selling Avon, or if they've ever thought about making some extra money. And then you're going to get their contact information, right, as you go about your day. And hi, Rick. Boy, Rick and Tina are on separate. Good to see you guys. So there's lots of ways, as you're going about your day, you're meeting people, but you can also work a booth or a table at an event. You can set up a breast cancer table in front of a local store or restaurant. You can utilize various ideas of advertising. You can buy leads from companies that advertise home business opportunities. And there's lots of different ways. And so I'm not going to talk today about how to get leads. I'm going to talk about what to do once you get them. Because once you talk to somebody, if they're interested in being a customer, you can click on this link and it will go into how to follow up with your customers, okay? But today we're going to talk about prospects. So if the person is interested in selling Avon, you want to plug them into your recruiting pipeline. So we've talked about this before. Hi, Carla. Hi, Tracy. Good to see you guys. So we've talked about this before. You have this funnel, right? Think about like a pancake when you're pouring pancake batter into a funnel, right? You're dropping people into the top all day long. You're meeting people. You're running ads. You're maybe meeting people on Facebook. You're finding people all over the place, and you're dropping them in the top. And the idea is to keep dropping them in, because eventually they're going to start coming out the bottom. And once you get enough in the top, they'll start coming out the bottom pretty regularly. And so it's all about that. It's all about filling the pipeline or the funnel, and then the people come out the bottom. But you've got to stay in touch with them while they're in that funnel, right? Because if you don't, then they're just not going to happen. I mean, they're going to go away, and you won't have as successful of a business. But one thing I know that a lot of people, and hey, I'm just as guilty of this, is that you followed up with somebody and they didn't return your call, or you texted them and they didn't respond, or you emailed them, they didn't respond. And then a couple of days later, you're thinking, I should probably call them again. And you're like, well, I don't want to bother them. They didn't respond to me, and I just don't want to be a bug. And you start thinking that. And you know what happens? What you're doing is you're getting in your own head, and you're playing this head game. And that's what I don't want to see happen, because that's what's going to derail you. That's what's going to hurt your business, is getting into that head game. And we all do it. Every single one of us do it. So by having a system in place, you don't have to be in your head. You don't have to be in your head, because you're doing, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? Boom, boom, boom. Check, 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 right? That's all it is. That seriously is all it is. There is no reason that you need to take every lead you have. Hopefully you have a lot of them over time. But everyone you have, sure, you want them all to sign up, but it's not important that that particular one signs up. right? It's not, you can't hang your hat on that particular person. Instead, it's you doing the process, you doing all the follow-ups, and just knowing that the right ones will sign up. And then you don't have to be in your head while you're doing it. You're just doing the process. You're just checking the next step, the next step, the next step. And I mean, I have had people, especially right now with the free signups. I mean, we just had a lady that signed up that I have been following up with 386 days, I believe. 386 days. I've been following up with her regularly. And she finally decided the time was right. And has she ever responded back to me? No. I don't think I've ever talked to her. But that's the key, see? And it's not like we're going to bug them. It's not like we're going to bother them or harass them. I'm going to teach you how to do this in a way that you're not, okay? So the first important thing is, now if you're getting a lead, this originally was written for like if you get a lead from Alma, and that's kind of going away. And so if you don't know what Alma is, don't worry about it because it's going away. But it was a way that Avon was sharing leads with us that we could buy. And, you know, if you're running ads or maybe if you're buying leads from somewhere else, you're going to get a lead. And maybe that person you've never talked to. So if that's the case, contact them as soon as possible. Call them as quickly as possible. So if you get a lead, if you bought a lead or you're running an ad or whatever, and they come in through your system, however that is, then call them. And then I do all of this right away. I call them, I text them, I email them, and I send postcards over a series of time. And so for the postcards, I use a system called Pixingo. And if you click on this, you can get a free Pixingo account, a free wholesale account. I mean, actually, I will be happy to give you a free wholesale account if that's something you want, where you can, it's wholesale for a year. It's already paid for a year. And then you just pay like 90 cents or something to send a card. And, but that's an option too. And so hit me up if you want one. But the most important is you call them, text them, and email them right away. Now, if you get a hold of them and you say, and you talk to them about selling Avon, I still want you to text them and email them. Of course, what you say in the text and email is going to depend on what happened in the phone call, right? But we'll go into that in just a minute. Another thing that's going to be really important is you need to keep track of your leads. You need to find a way to track them. I use a CRM called Big Contacts, and it's not free. I don't remember, I think I pay like $69 a year for each of us. So it's not even, can't even share an account. We each have it. I'm not saying necessarily that you need to do that. I'll show you some ways really quick. Let me see. Anitra says, if we held out for one particular, we would get nowhere. You are spot on, Anitra. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the thing is, it's not important about that one particular one. And if you make it important, then they feel like you're needy. Whether you are or not, they feel like you're needy because, they can feel it. They can subconsciously feel it that you are counting on them to sign up. So if you just let that go and know that it's not important who joins, just that you get some people to join and you let that go. It's kind of like if you're serving coffee in a restaurant and you walk around and you go, would you like a refill? And Richard says no. And I go to the next person, Anitra, would you like a refill? And she says no. And then I go to Carla, would you like a refill? And she goes, yes, I would love it. I need more coffee. So, it doesn't matter who wants the coffee as long as I get coffee to the people that want it, right? So, so let's talk about keeping track of your leads. There's a couple of things that's going to be really important is you're going to need to log every contact with your person, and you're going to need a way to follow up. And Alma is going away. So if you've been using Alma, I would probably get everything out of there. And this Big Contacts, I love it. It works for me. If you have, if you're in leadership already and you have Vibe, you can do it in Vibe. You can set up new contacts in Vibe and schedule follow-ups. You can do all of that. And I did a training on last week when I did the training about how to follow up with your new team members and help them get started. So go back and watch that if you want to learn how to do it in Vibe. Okay, because that's probably more than I want to go into today. But I have a couple of other ideas for you as far as how to manage your contacts. There are other CRMs out there, Contact Relationship Manager or Customer Relationship Manager. There are other ones out there. You can Google it, but you can also make do with what you have. And let me show you. So if we go to Avon, we go to your Avon account, and we're in Avon now. We go to My Office, Web Office, and we go to manage address book, I am just going to pull up the first person in here. It doesn't really matter who they are. And I'm going to go down here on the notes section. You literally can add notes. So you can put a note in here, 02, what's the date today? 02/16/20, text number 1. And then you can save this note, and then you can go back in and when it's time to do email number 1, and you'll type in email number 1, the date, like 2/20/20, email number 1, right? And then maybe the next one might be 2/26/20, text number 2. So you can keep a whole track of notes in here, so you can actually monitor this in your notes. There's another way you can do it. This is a Gmail account I'm not using, so the calendar is empty. I didn't want to pull up my calendar because it's a lot of personal information and everything, but this is a Gmail account I'm not using. And you could literally go into, can I go in? You can go into contacts in here in your Gmail, and you can put your contacts in, and then in your contacts, oh, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, in your contacts, there's a notes section in your contacts. So you can do the same thing in there. So at the bottom of each contact, so you'd set up each person as a contact, and in the bottom of the contact would be a notes section. So you could do the same thing in there. And as far as your follow-ups, a really easy way to do that is today's the 16th. So let's just say I followed up with some people and I needed to follow up with them 3 days from now. On the 19th, I could create an event or a task or whatever you want to call it, just a calendar item, follow-ups, okay? And more options. And I could say, send email number 2. Well, I might put, let's just say I'm going to pick on Carla Bell. Send email number 2, okay? And then maybe I need to put Anitra Wells, send text number 3. And so when you need to do the follow-up, just go in and put it in this note and save it. And then on the 19th, when it's time for you to do your follow-ups, you could pull this up and you can, got it. And you can, you've got them all right here. Carla, send email number 2. Anitra, send text number 3. And then you can do that from your email, from your text or whatever. And then you can log them in here in your Avon contacts, or you can log them in the contact in your Gmail, or again, you can get a CRM or something like that. This is just a way to do it for free, and you would have a follow-ups every single day. It might have 10 different follow-ups that you need to do, and then maybe on the 20th would be 10 more follow-ups of somebody else you needed to follow up with, and then on the 21st. So I hope that makes sense. Am I saying that pretty clear? Do you think? Okay, so that's how to keep track of it. Okay. And it's really, really important that you keep track, because you need to know exactly where you're at with each person and what the next step is. And it's going to be different depending on how long they've been in your pipeline. So, okay, so what do I do? Well, the first thing I do when I get a lead is I call them. Okay, so if it's a lead from Alma, or a lead from an ad I'm running, or a lead from, I don't know, maybe I bought leads or something like that, then I'm going to call them. If it's somebody that I talked to, like I met them in the store, then obviously I wouldn't need to call them, right? Because I just talked to them. So that would be the first thing, though, would be to call them. And if you're calling somebody that doesn't know you, most of the time they won't answer the phone. So, because they don't know who you are. And that's totally okay, right? So you just call and say, hi, this is Lynn with Avon. I'm giving you a call because you requested more information about being an Avon representative. My phone number is, please give me a call. I'm also going to text you my contact information and send you an email with more information. I look forward to hearing from you. So now they already know you're going to call and text, so they're going to expect it. And the truth is, they probably will follow up more likely with your text and your email than with the phone call. Nobody likes to be on the phone these days. So then I immediately send a follow-up text. I use a service called Shuffle, and I send a text. And in my Shuffle, I have a virtual business card. I'm going to pull that up so you can see it. It has me, and it says, this is a little bit about me. I teach people how to live their personal dreams. And it has links to Buy Avon, Our Story, Start Your Avon Business, and the Starter Kit image. So, I mean, these are just links that I've put on my card. And so, and if you want a card, you can click on Design Your Own Card Now from my card. And if you change, when you go to checkout, if you change it to just one card, it defaults to 10 and it's $10 a month. But if you change it to one card, it's free. So just FYI, if you wanted to do this for free, you could have one card. So I send a link to my card. And so what I do is I say, hi, this is Lynn with Avon. You requested more information about Avon business or want to buy products, ? I'm here to help you. Here's my business card with all the links you need. And I give them my shuffle link. So that's what I do. That's my text. And even if I met them in the store now, I'm going to send them that text because that's the text. I mean, I might not call them, but I'm going to send them that text. And I'm going to send them an email. So I'm going to say, here's the email with the subject, their name. Thanks for your interest in Avon. And this email's a little long, but I've gotten good response from it. This is from Lisa Wilbur. And this is a Word document that will open up. Maybe.
Thinking.
So Anitra says, well, that's opening. Anitra says, great idea. Awesome. Thank you. So here's just my email number 1. Hi, thanks for your interest in joining Avon. The pay is, you'll earn 25% on beauty, 20% on home. And this is like I said, it's a little long, but I spread it out with as much space in between. Keep your paragraphs short. And it's just a kind of information about selling Avon. So that would be email number 1. And so then I go through and I have a schedule. So you can download my scripts here. I have text and email scripts. And if you don't have Word, I have it in a PDF. In fact, let me open the PDF. Maybe that will help you so you can see it. So we have text number 1, text number 2, text number 3, text number 4, and we go all the way through text number, what's the last one, 12. And then once you're done with that, once you've gone through 12 texts, you can like keep making up more, or you can literally go back to number 2 and start over, because these are spread out to the point where your prospect probably won't even notice that text number 2 is the same one you sent them before. So you can just start over again. And I've done that. I'll go all the way through 12, and then I start over at 2 and go through 12 and start over at 2 and go through 12. And 2 years later, they sign up. So, it's just a matter of staying in touch. Here's the emails I sent. Email number 1, email number 2, email number 3 was at the bottom of this. How do you feel about? And there's, I think, 12 emails. 6, 7, 9, 11, 12. Yeah, and those will get you started. And then same thing, you can start over again with email number 2 once you're done. Okay, so those are the actual things. So here's my schedule. So I alternate between emails and text every week. So today, if I get the lead today or I meet them in the store today, I will call them. Obviously, if I met them in the store, I won't call them, because I've said to them already, I'll text you some information, right? So I send them, I call them and I send text number 1, I send email number 1, and then I usually send them a card from Pix and Go. So then I alternate every week. So now 1 week from today, they will get email number 2. Or they'll get text number 2. I'm sorry. Where does it? Doesn't say that. Actually, I send text number 2 in 3 days. Let's get that. There we go. Text number 2 goes in 3 days. So then 1 week from 3 days. So today is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday would be when I would send text number 2. And then it goes 1 week. So then 1 week from Wednesday, they would get email number 2. And then 1 week from that, they would get text number 3. And then 1 week later, they would get email number 3. 1 week later, they would get text number 4. And 1 week later, they would get email number 4. I send postcards at the same time I send text. That's how I keep that straight. And keep in mind, you're alternating them every other week, right? So then I alternate every 2 weeks. So once I've got to email number 4, then I wait 2 more weeks from that day and go text number 5, and then 2 weeks, and then email number 5, and then 2 weeks and text number 6, 2 weeks, email number 6, and then 7, text 7, email 7, text 8, email 8. And then I go 3 weeks in between. So text number 9 is 3 weeks after email number 8, right? And then email number 9, text 10, and 11, 12. Those are 3 weeks apart. And then after that, then I go every month. So So now I finished with email number 12. And so I'm going to start over with text number 2, and it's going to be a month apart now. So text number 2, and then a month later, email number 2, and then a month later, text number 3. And it goes that way forever until they tell me to stop, or they die, or they go away, right? That's how I do it. Now, here's the and here's the deal, okay? So if you're on this system and you've sent them everything, and now 3 days later, you have an event. Whoops, let's get rid of that. So 3 days later, you've put today's the 16th, so 3 days later, I put the follow-up in there, right? So now I'm saying, for Carla, I should send email number 2. For Anitra, I should send text number 3. I would have a whole list of people maybe that I need to do these for. So I wouldn't have to think about, oh, am I going to bug Carla if I send her that text today? No, I'm not going to think about that. I'm just going to go, oh, that's what I need to do. Check. And then I go and I log either in your contact manager in Avon or your contacts in Google or wherever you're logging them. And I would go into the notes and I would say text number 2 and the date, right? Or actually, I put the date first. So 2/16/20, text number 2, and then add that note. And see, it's right here now. So you can see the history of everything that happened with that contact. And so that's how I do it. And so then every day I go to mine is in my big contacts, but every day I would go to my follow-ups. I would click on my things that I have to do today. And so if you're using this, you would pull up and you go, okay, Carla, send email number 2. So you'd go to your email and you'd copy and paste that. And you actually can put those emails and those texts into a document that you can copy and paste from, or you can put them into an email and save it as a draft and then copy and paste from that, so that you don't have to recreate them every time. But so you go to your email, you send an email to Carla for email number 2, and then you go to her contact in your Avon Now, and you log email number 2, and then you're going to go to here. And so now we're going to go to a week later, and we're going to create a new one, follow-ups, and then we're going to go Carla Bell, text number 3. So, and then we'll eventually have a whole list of people that we're going to be going on there. Because as you're adding new people, and if you have these on every day of the week, and you're adding new people, say tomorrow you pick up some people and you already have these follow-ups every day, then you'll just open that follow-up and edit it and add the other follow-ups that you need to add to it. I hope that's making sense.
It's really key to follow up with people, because you don't know what's going to happen in their life. They could 2 years or a year down the road or 6 months down the road, they could lose their job. They could get sick and tired of their job. The boss keeps screaming at them. They want to quit their job. Maybe they're getting close to retirement and they're looking for some second income or something to do in retirement to meet other people and stuff. Or the kids need braces. All kinds of things happen in our lives. Life happens. And so you just keep in contact with them. And we've had several just in the last couple of months that were anywhere from 6 months to 2 years that we've been Lynn's been contacting them, and they just respond. And it's automated, so it's not painful. It's just you get it done, and they get it, and they say, "Oh, not now, not now, not now. Oh, today's the day I want to sign up."
Yeah, and the cool thing about that is when I click here and I open it and I go, okay, I need to send email number 2 to Carla. I go into my email and I copy and paste it into an email to her and I send it to her. And nowhere am I going, what if she doesn't respond? I don't even care if she responds at that point. I did my check. I can check it off. Yeah. I did it. It doesn't even matter if she responds, because then I get to the next one. Oh, she's still in my follow-up, so now I need to send text number 3. It doesn't even matter if she responds. I'm not looking for that response. And I think that's the big key, because then it's not in your head. You're not worrying about, am I bugging them? And I know it sounds like a lot because I'm saying email number 2 and text number 3 and all that, but keep in mind, we're spreading them out. By the time you get to email number 12, you're probably close to 6 months or a year out.
Yeah.
Because they're getting spread out over time. You're not doing them all at once. The only ones you're doing at once are the email one and the text one, right? Document everything. And of course, you can and should edit the scripts to what fits your personality. There's no perfect way to do these scripts. The most important thing is to be follow-up. And so you have you have that schedule. No longer do you have to be in your head going, is it too early to contact them? Instead, you can just look at what the next follow-up is and move on to the next and the next and the next. Easy peasy, right? And then all of a sudden you get that email from Avon that says you have a self-appointment. And then you go, oh, wow, man, I've been following up with her for 2 years. Boom. And you've never talked to her once. Isn't that funny? She's never responded. She's never talked to her. But today it's right. And you know, I mean, just a perfect example. My son's girlfriend, she works, well, I'm not going to say where she works because, I mean, I don't know anybody that might know her. But anyway, she works in a job where she takes money in a cashier type situation. And she loved her job, and it was a great job for her. She's in school, and this was a great job. And, you know, somebody accused her of giving product away for free, which wasn't true. It wasn't even true at all. But somebody accused her, and she said, that's it. I'm out of here. Boom. So there you go. I mean, you just never know. Like Richard says, you never know if something's going to happen in your life. Like she's like, well, I don't need this job. If that's how you're going to treat me, I don't need this job. You're not, obviously I've never stolen in my life. And if you're going to accuse me, then I don't need to be here. And boom, you've got a new Avon rep because you just happened to get that text or that email just happened to hit at the right time. Or maybe little Johnny needs braces. You know, maybe you go to the dentist and the dentist says, well, your son needs braces. And you're like, how am I going to pay for that? All of a sudden Avon means, all of a sudden it sounds like a better idea, right? So you just never know where people are at in their lives because things change all the time. So let's see, we got some. Anitra says, I need to do this with product follow-up with a friend of mine. Absolutely, yes. Anitra, and we teach that too. We have follow-ups for that. In fact, up here at the top where it says, if a person is interested in being a customer, be sure to plug them into your customer follow-up. Here's a post about how to automate those. So you'll want to do that with your customers with products, okay? And Carla says, consistency is key. It really is. It really is. I would say, in fact, that consistency is probably the most important determination of whether your business is successful or not. That's how important it is. So thank you, Carla. And she says, Carla also says, so this system really helps. I'm glad that you're finding it helpful. For so many people, this system could be helpful. It could be helpful if you're shy because again, it takes you out of your head, right? It takes you out of the, I don't want to be a bug. I don't want to bother anybody. Oh my gosh, what are they going to think if I keep bugging them? So it takes you out of that if you're shy, or maybe if you're just an inconsistent, maybe you're just flighty. I mean, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, just look at personality styles. Okay. So like I'm red and driven, and even my sign is Taurus, and I mean Taurus, they go straight through, right? Richard, he's blue. It's where's the party? I'm having fun. And even his sign, he's Aries. He gets to the same point as I do. We're both driven, don't get me wrong, but he hops around. I'm going straight through, and Richard's hopping around, right? So Richard's a little more flighty than me because I'm like going straight to the goal, and Richard's like, oh, squirrel, right? And so this system is going to keep Richard more on track to go for that goal, right?
Yeah. Well, we have a joke that I jump over the wall to get to the goal, and Lynn goes through the wall to get to the goal. That's just our personalities. We both get to our goal.
We get to the same goal, yeah. And we have the same goals and all that. But it's just a matter of being able to keep yourself more on track.
Yeah. Yeah. Right at the very end, there's a thing about consistency that really ties in with what Carla said. Right at the very end, you have a little thing at the end here. It says, don't beat yourself up if you don't appoint a lot of these leads. You won't get to them all, but with a little effort and follow-up, you will get many of them. The thing on this is the 80-20 rule. Did you know that 80% of people do follow-ups once and quit?
Yeah.
But this next statement here, in any sales situation, 80% of all sales, or 80% of all of the people that we sign up to become representatives in Avon, or even become customers sometimes too, they happen on the 5th to 12th follow-up. So if you do one follow-up and quit, 80% of the time, you're going to fail. But the ones that succeed is when you do 5 to 12 times you do this, and then boom, you're successful.
And the other thing too is that the people who are going to sign up are going to sign up. And this is really important because
Mhm.
I'm just going to pick on Carla just because I see her name there. But Carla talks to somebody once, right? And she doesn't talk to them again for whatever reason, right? Or maybe she even does it 3 times. Maybe she follows up 3 times. But like Richard says, 80% of all sales are made on the 5th to the 12th follow-ups. So maybe she follows up 3 times or maybe even 4 times, and then she doesn't follow up anymore. And somehow or another, I meet that person. Well, guess what? I'm going to sign them up because they're going to get 12 follow-ups from me. In fact, they're going to get follow-ups from me until they either die or tell me to leave them alone. And so they will sign up, and they'll sign up under me. So don't let that happen, you guys. The worst thing in the world, and I bet you there's probably maybe a couple of people on this call. I know there's a couple on this webinar that have had experience, so they'll know what I'm saying is true. But the worst thing in the world is for you to have your sister-in-law or or one of your friends or somebody you know really well on stage at Rep Fest with earning all kinds of awards, and they're not on your team because you didn't invite them. That happens all the time. You didn't think they would be interested, and so you didn't invite them. And then I meet them. I don't even know them. I'm not related to them or whatever. And I meet them, and I sign them up, and they're highly successful in their Avon business. And you're sitting in the audience watching your cousin or whoever getting recognized on stage. Wouldn't that be a horrible feeling? Don't let that happen, you guys. Don't let it happen, because you can bring them in. You can do it. People are asking me all the time, why are you so successful? It's so funny. I hear that all the time. Why is it you sign up so many people? It's because I have a lot more going in the top of that funnel. So they're coming out the bottom. And the ones that are coming out the bottom are the ones that are ready to sign up. I just keep putting them in the funnel, and my funnel's big, and they're just sort of moving around in that funnel. But I talk to people every single day. I bring new prospects into my business every single day. Every day I do. And so they're just like rolling around in that funnel, and then they come out. I'm not any better than you are. I'm not better at talking to people. I'm not better at convincing. Well, we don't want to convince. It's not about convincing, because if you have to convince them to join, you're going to have to convince them to place an order. So it's not about convincing. It's not about trying to talk anybody into it. And I'm not better at it than you. The only thing I am or might be better at is following the system.
Another thing too, and it's a human nature thing. Probably the best example is making phone calls. We have a system that we use to remind our customers. It's probably going to go out tomorrow, I think, for us.
Yeah.
But we have either a text or a phone call, and we have a system that goes out and calls all of our customers to remind them. It's a simple a reminder. Lynn's talked about this many times, but it's just a simple reminder that, hey, our Avon order is going in. Give us a call if you need anything. Thanks. Boom, you're done. If you automate it, it's easy and it gets done. If you don't, if you say, well, I don't have the money, or I think I'd much rather save the money and call these 100 customers, I guarantee you'll never make it. You'll either get to 10 or 12 or 13 of them, and you'll get 2 or 3 that are nasty and say, why are you bothering me, and this or that, and you'll quit. Or life happens. You may have an emergency. You may say, well, at 9 o'clock, I'm going to sit down and do my calls, and I should be done by 10 or 11 o'clock. And all of a sudden at 11 o'clock, you get a call and your kid is sick at school and you have to leave and rush to the hospital, and you don't get the calls out to the customer. So it's just life gets in the way with a lot of us. And if you automate as many things as you can, they happen, and your business just roars down the road smoothly.
And it might not even be having to take your kid to the hospital. Right. It might be Johnny hit somebody. He's in the principal's office. Yeah. You need to come to the school. Yeah. It might not be an emergency, right? But in speaking of that, and all the time with my mom being until she passed, and her being in and out of hospitals and in and out of nursing homes, and me having to be at her side all the time, it's those systems that helped me be consistent in my business regardless of what was happening, because they were scheduled ahead of time. Or we've done our business completely from a cruise ship, and our customers didn't even know we were on a cruise ship, because they got our follow-up calls, they got our follow-up reminders, they texted me their order, and I texted back a confirmation. They didn't even know we were on a cruise ship, but we ran our entire business that way. So these systems make a huge difference. So if you want to learn about the systems, go back up to the top, and right here, if a person's interested in being a customer, follow up with automate these follow-ups. We've talked about them in lots of different calls. So let me see. We got Rick says, ouch. Actually, Rick probably could tell you a personal story because he signed up with us. And there's somebody in his life that's an Avon rep that should have invited him that didn't. And so Rick is highly successful and he's not on her team. So Rick knows about that. I mean, he knows about it from the good side. He's not the one that made the mistake, right? But so, yeah, there you go, Anitra, or your kids come home with lice. What a pain it is. And you know what? Kids get lice because they're around other kids all day and that happens. And then it becomes a pain and you're like, oh crap, I didn't get my follow-ups done. But if you schedule them ahead of time, they already went. I scheduled my follow-ups on Friday to go out on Monday. And so they're going to be going out this Monday and my order will be going in on Wednesday. And so that's huge. And yeah, Rick, he knew exactly what I was talking about. Awesome. So that's really all I have, you guys. But I can't tell you how important this is to follow up. However you do it, track everyone and make sure, whether it's a Google Calendar or whatever you're doing, make sure you have these follow-ups scheduled so that you can go in and go, what do I have to do today? Check. Okay, boom, my follow-ups are done. That's how simple it should be.
Yeah, I just want to say too, the things we cover here, a lot of times you're watching this for the first time and you probably feel overwhelmed. Don't feel overwhelmed. You start using these little systems when you start your business. If you start automating as much as you can with your business when you start, it won't be as hard. You're creating little learning habits. When you start your business, you don't have 5,000 customers. You don't have 5,000 people on your team. You have 1, maybe 2, maybe 10. But these are things you can set up the system. You learn how it works. You understand how it works with 1 to 10 people. And you're creating a habit of doing it, and it becomes easy to do after a while. So when you start getting up to 100 or 200 or 300, you're just adding them into the system, and it's something that's simple. It's not, don't sit back and get overwhelmed with it. Chunk it down. You're doing a small amount of stuff right now. You're learning how to do it, and it'll become easier as you go along, and your business will run smoother as you go along.
And remember, this is a video. You could always come back and watch this video and have another window open and work through the video, pause it, stop, rewind. So don't worry about panicking or thinking this is too much, because I know we gave you a lot of information, but you can work the video at your own speed. You can go back and listen to whatever parts of it you need to. So Rick says, systems are the best. You have to have a system. They really do make a difference. They really do. And Anitra, is this stuff in Avon U or SoCal? No, I don't think this is an Avon U. This is my system. This is something I teach. So, and I don't know what SoCal is, but it's in Online Beauty Biz. So you can find this on my onlinebeautybiz.com blog, which has all of the training that we have for representatives. And if you go to my home, by the way, if you're new, Anitra, I know that, Avon Social. Sorry.
Yeah,
I've lived in SoCal for a while, so I got confused. No, none of my systems is in Avon U or Avon Social. This is something I created. So you can find it. Onlinebeautybiz.com is my blog. I know none of you here, that at least those of you that are speaking out, are new, but click on getting started at the top if you are new, or if you have a new rep, have them go to getting started. I literally walk through the different ways to sell, the different ways to make money, getting started, how to get started right away, how to create Avon customer profiles in your address book, when do you have to pay for your orders, how do you get paid, how to set up your website, for direct delivery. I mean, how to share your Avon brochure. It's all here. It's all here to help you get started right away. And then you can always search for anything you want in here. And we have categories. So follow-up, fundraising, so anything in here. And if you can't find something, hit me up. You can go to the About Me right here. Just click on About Me. And there's Contact Me form you can submit. And I am more than happy to, if you can't find how to do something, I'm happy to direct you to that article, or I'm always looking for ideas about what do I need to train on. So I'd love to hear what you need help with, and then I could write a blog post about that, about how to train.
Yeah, I think the biggest fault that people have with Avon is it's like I think because we're older, we tend to think that we can learn this stuff faster or just should automatically know things. It's not true. You don't start in the first grade and the next year you go to the 12th grade. It's a slow progression, but just take things in bite size. Every day, whatever you need to know, start with the getting started, like you said. And if you find something that you need to know today, go down here in the search and type it in. And learn how to do that one thing you need to know today. You don't need to know everything today. It's impossible to learn everything in one day. But each day when you're confronted with something that you don't understand or how to do it, look it up here on Online Beauty Biz, and it'll help you learn that for today, and you'll master that skill, and then you can add something new the next day.
Okay, that's really what I have for you today. I really believe systems, system to get your new representative started, a system on how to follow up work your leads, and a system on how to automate your customer follow-ups. We do, we talk about mailing brochures. We talk about calling and texting your customers using services for that.
Reminding of the order going in.
Reminding them when their order goes in. So all of that's in here. But that, seriously, that's your whole business. If you find a way, you need to find a way to meet new people. One of the things I say with my team all the time is no matter what's going wrong with your business, no matter what you're struggling with, the answer is always talk to more people. Always. If you want more sales, talk to more people. If you want to make more money, talk to more people. If you want more reps in your team, talk to more people. The answer is always talk to more people. And the more people you can bring into that funnel, so that they're in that big funnel, because the funnel's big at the top for a reason, so all those people can go in, and then the ones who are interested will come out the bottom. And the more you put in, the more that are going to come out the bottom, the more that are going to be your customers, the more that are going to be your team members, the more that are going to maybe do things like fundraisers with you, the more you're going to grow your business. So Carla, thanks so much. As usual, great information. Thank you, Carla. I appreciate you. And then you to you both. I think you're saying thank you. Thank you, Anitra.
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate you too. I appreciate all of you guys for being on here. Let's go back to, there we go. Back to us. You get us, pretty us. So that's all I have for you guys today. We will plan on seeing you next Sunday, same time, same place. I'm pretty sure. I don't have my calendar, but I'll put out I'll schedule a Facebook Live. So anyway, thanks for being here today. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you on Facebook, and I will see you next week.
Have a great week, everyone.
Bye-bye.